Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I'm your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Sagittarius in mid-August 2019. What's going on, Sagittarius? How you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. All right, guys, end of summer. How'd it go? Had a good time? Everything was great? I hope so. My summer has been my summer. I can't really complain. Could have been better, but it could also have been way worse, right? So hopefully you guys are at least breaking even, right? Anyway, Sag, I've shuffled off camera. That's your main spread there. Oh, that's a little crooked. That's gonna bother me. I've shuffled off camera. That's your main spread there. We'll shuffle on camera now for your outcome and your overall energy. Once all the cards are out and they're lying face up on the table, that's when the reading begins. You can look in the description box below for the timestamp if you want to jump ahead. Also down there is the information you need if you want to get a personal reading with me. If you want to clarify anything before you place an order, you simply email me at the exact same address, okay? All right, guys, let's get into it. I want to see Sagittarius' outcome for mid-August 2019. I want to see the outcome for Sagittarius in mid-August, please. Please show me. Almost. I should have made some tea. I knew I forgot something. I should have made tea. That's okay. Boy. It's getting dark so soon. I feel like August used to be, especially around this time, still a little light. It's so dark outside. One more, please. Outcome for Sagittarius in mid-August, please. So, okay, thank you. That's interesting. You're the first sign that I've kind of rambled with in the beginning. I don't know if that means anything. We'll find out, I guess. Bottom of the deck is the overall. Let's go and flip what came face down for you guys. Whoa, I almost dropped that. Okay. All right, how's that look? Wow. You know, 1 second, because I think that should go, yes. Maybe that's what was off. There. Just that little bit. I was like, that was like really bunched in together. Okay, so there we go. All right, so please show me where Sagittarius is in mid-August 2019. Mid-August 2019. Almost called you Scorpio. I apologize. Sagittarius, mid-August 2019. Please show me. Okay, thank you. Wow. Took a minute, obviously. Something is distracting. I feel distracted when I asked for this card or this position. I didn't ask for the card, but I asked for your position where you were. And it kept coming in and then it would leave. In and out, you know? So, distraction, you know? I don't know if that will apply to you guys. Anyway, coming in, Sag, you come in with the Justice card, Major Arcana card for Libra. So some of you might be dealing with a Libra, but underneath it all, Sagittarius, this situation or your position in this situation, whatever we're talking about, I don't even know what we're talking about yet, is about fairness. It's about what's correct, what's right, in terms of morals, in terms of law, if it's literally dealing with the court system or the justice system or law enforcement. And you know, I don't know where you fall, Sagittarius. I mean, I would hope, and it's not my intention when I shuffle and when I meditate that I get only positive messages. I ask for truthful messages, and I have had to clarify, or I felt the need rather to clarify lately that not every person who's coming to this reading who is a Sagittarius is quote unquote a good person or on the good side of the situation. Good, all in quotation marks, because it's a relative term. It's a subjective point of view. I'm not here to judge you either way. But here, Sagittarius, a lot of you are viewing yourselves in that binary, in that polarity of good or bad, good or evil. And again, quotes on all that shit. Because I don't know your life and I don't know your story. Um, but what it feels like is there's a dilemma. There is a dilemma here about being good or bad, being correct or incorrect, being lawful or unlawful, being deemed innocent or guilty. Some of you are dealing with that in the courts of law, or in whatever litigation you're dealing with, whatever potential jail time or fines that you're up against, and just, that's in the balance. Your character, your guilt or your innocence, your involvement in a situation is being decided by the powers that be. For those where it's not so hard on the law side and it's more of a moral thing, you're judging yourself, you're feeling judged by others, whatever it is. And it's a dilemma, because I think, like, I'm feeling like this remorseful thing, or like this thing about reform, where, again, this is not to pass any type of judgment. I'm not here as any judging position or person. I feel like someone feels they're a bad person trying to be good, or a good person who had to do bad things. Like, no matter how you view yourself, Sagittarius, you feel you're being seen as the other. So if you feel you're a good person, you feel that people are seeing you as a bad person. If you feel you're a bad person, you feel that someone or some set of people are viewing you as if you're a good person. Either way, you feel like you're wearing the wrong suit. You feel like you're in the wrong clothes. You feel like you're on the wrong side of not the wrong side of the situation, but you're being mischaracterized in some form or fashion. Yeah? People aren't seeing the true you, whether that be a good person or a bad person or whatever. Yeah? Quotations so hard on good and bad. I don't know you. I don't claim to know you. So outside of, the general archetypes and aspects of what it means to be a Sagittarius, but you as a person, personally, I do not know you. So that's your perception, is I'm this, but people see me as that. I did this, but people only see that I did that. Whether that's has a negative or a positive spin. Again, quotes on that shit too, negative and positive. You put quotes on that too. And regardless, Sag, I feel as though you're giving yourself a hard time for it. Whether that's justified or not, you're really putting yourself through the ringer here. Or you're really... They really conflated these two words, but they're meant to be two different words. Some of you, you're analyzing and agonizing about how you're being perceived. I think some of you are trying to understand why people are viewing you a certain way, whether that be a good way or a bad way they're viewing you. You're analyzing that. You're trying to understand and put rhyme and reason behind it. You're trying to see how could someone have come to this conclusion based off of whatever, the evidence, the specifics of the case, or the specifics of the litigation, or, again, outside of a court of law, just the details involving you and whatever situation we're talking about. You're trying to see and draw to the same conclusion, trying to find the path that they took to come to whatever conclusion they've come to about you or the situation you're involved in. That's the analysis part of it. The agonizing is just like, you're oftentimes not able to make heads or tails of that. I'm especially feeling that for those who you feel like you're a bad person, but people are treating you or perceiving you as a good person. Now, this could be like some Mindhunter type shit. I don't know. and that's a joke. Because I don't think it's that dire where, you're pulling a Ted Bundy on people, like luring them in with your boyish charm, and then like you're stuffing them in the trunk of your car. I don't feel it's something so heinous, but I do think you feel like a bad boy or a bad girl, but people are believing that you're a good girl or a good boy, and I don't know what to make of that. You're stumped by it. Same way I'm trying to, and the agony is because maybe some of you want to be punished. Oh, okay. Take that back, the punish thing, because I don't know that you necessarily want to be punished, but I think you want to be able to see yourself. Again, this is for those that feel that you're bad, and other people are saying, no, you're a good person, Sagittarius. For those where there's that discrepancy is going on, you want to be able to believe in yourself, to see the positive in you, to see the attributes that they see and that they love and that they are praising. You want to see it. You can't see it. You're agonizing. You're beating yourself up. You're trying your best to be like, oh my God, everybody thinks I'm so cool. Or everybody thinks I'm so smart. Or this person thinks I'm amazing. How come I don't think I'm amazing? Why don't I think I'm amazing? And it's like, you can't figure it out. Okay? And that would work the other way. If you feel you're a good person, but people view you as bad, and if you've spent a good portion of your life or recent times in your life trying to be good and maybe actually being good, like the scenario that they're painting in this situation is like, say, a child or an adult child in your 20s or your 30s, and you're trying, you're adulting so hard, you're paying your bills, right? You're keeping a roof over your own head, you're able to make it to work on time, and you do all the things that you're supposed to do. You raise your kids right, blah, 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 but then your parents or someone else in your family is critiquing you and making you feel like a piece of shit, even though you're doing the damn thing. You're being a good mom or a dad. You're showing up to work and you're being a model employee, or at least, a coasting, average, mostly successful, whatever you're doing. And some of you might be using this as like, or rather, you're racking your brain. It's not like I've killed anybody, but the people that are critiquing me are acting like I'm the worst thing that has ever crawled across the earth. All this, I've been talking about it for a minute. That justice or that interest in being deemed good or bad, or the hang up you have, is projected, is consciously a part of your mind with this Eight of Swords. So feeling so bound and so stuck in the perception of others. Not that you care, because Sagittarius, deep down, not that you don't care, but I don't think it's changing your everyday behavior. I don't think that it's going to change your personality or certain facets of your personality. No, I think that what it's making, it's like a ride on it's like if you were going to an amusement park or a fair, and you want to go on all these other rides. You want to go on the Tilt-A-Whirl, you want to go on the Ferris wheel, you want to go on the merry-go-round, you want to go, play skee ball, you want to do all the things. But for some reason, you can only ride the teacups. You get off, you get in line for another ride, and then when you come up to get onto the ride, it's the goddamn teacups again. There's something here about spinning or being put in this spinning motion around one thing that you don't necessarily want to be involved in. I don't want to think poorly of myself. I don't want to care about these people's critiques, or I don't even want to be presented with their critiques. Like some of you are like dodging people's phone calls, or not responding to text messages because you don't want to be reminded of the thing that is upsetting you, or the thing that bothers you, or the thing that you feel is either unfair or it's not clear to you. Now going back to the justice thing and the lawful thing, if there's a warrant out for you, some of you are dodging a warrant, some of you are dodging a court appearance. I would advise not to do that. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not any type of legal counsel, and I don't know what your life is, I don't know what you have to do, but there's some who are like literally dodging the thing that is also what needs to be addressed. So there's and I said that in the pre-shuffle. I was just not distracted, but things kept coming into my mind, and I was talking about things that had to do with my life. I think I can't really remember, but the matter at hand was to do your reading, but in my mind, other things were kind of there. So something stays in the back of your mind, and you're stuck to it. And you can't really get out of it, like that knot of fabric down there, or rope, right? Needs to be untangled. You can't really untangle things too well. I mean, I suppose some of us could, like a Navy SEAL maybe, but you would stand a better chance of being able to untangle that pile of rope if the blindfold was off of you. So there's something about a discrepancy of your character, or being misjudged, or being misunderstood in some type of way, or having judgment passed on you, that you both know you have to address. You know you have to face it head on, but you are also avoiding like the plague. you're trying your best not to ride the teacups again. You get in line for the roller coaster, you get up there, and it's like, oh, it's the entrance to the tilt-a-whirl, and you're like, son of a bitch, or excuse me, the teacups. I don't want to be on the teacups anymore. So then you get out of line, you work your way out through the queue, and then you go over and you're like, okay, I just want to get some funnel cake. You stand in line for funnel cake, you get up there, it's the damn teacups. It keeps bringing you back to the thing that you have to do. But you don't want to do it. You're avoidant, and that's fine. We all get that way. I don't know that it's going to serve you in the end. You make your choices, you make up your own life, you do what you want. Oh man. Yeah. Because something is about to turn over here. The World card. Major Arcana. The World is associated with Saturn, so this is associated with Capricorn, but it's also most readily associated with the fixed signs, so Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So you might be dealing with any of those 5 signs or none at all. It really doesn't matter. That's really just for your tarot educational purposes, yeah? But something is about to turn over. When we get to the World, we're talking about chapter ends, we're talking about the end of a book, moving on to a totally different book, or again, chapter ends, moving from chapter 6 to 7 to 8 to 9, whatever we're doing. Something, I don't know if you have to make a decision, or again, I think some of you are waiting for judgment to be passed on you, especially in that legal sense. Going to court, being hit with a fine, being hit with jail time, being given probation, whatever you're doing. Some of you that's like your reality. But even beyond that, many of you recognize that after you come to a realization, or that person over there comes to a realization, or some, I don't even want to call it decision. I think it's like an agreement. Or, what is this? Please clean that up. This idea of being seen for who you are. Aha, there it is. Whatever way that hits your ears, whatever that means to you. Once you're seen for who you are, good guy, good girl, bad girl, does not matter. You know things will never be the same. We move on to a different chapter, we move on to a different book, we move on to a different phase in our life, whatever. That scares a lot of you, gives you trepidation, gives you pause, because there's I don't even want to say a willingness, but there's an understood consequence to that. The consequence being embracing the next chapter, embracing the next phase. Given that it's right next door to that 8 of Swords, you guys are not, many of you feel you're not ready. I don't want to let this part of my life go. I don't want to let this aspect of my life go. I don't want to close out this chapter just yet. Even though you know you have to, you don't want to. The Saturn thing, the attachment, excuse me, not the attachment, but the association, thank you, that's the word. The association that the World card has to Saturn. Saturn talks about life lessons, hard lessons. I don't know what's going on astrologically. I know we came out of that retrograde a couple weeks ago, the Mercury retrograde. I think there are still some planets in retrograde. Don't quote me, I could be totally wrong. But astrologically, in terms of what Saturn is here to do, I don't know if there's something significant going on with Saturn and Sagittarius right now. Look that up. Maybe there's something going on, but maybe not. Saturn is really like, in terms of characteristics, like really doesn't care about your pity party, like really doesn't care that you lack confidence or that you lack a willingness to change certain things or to embrace the ending of certain things or the transition over into new phases and stages. Like Saturn simply does not give a shit what you feel. Saturn gives you what you need or what you are due, what you're owed, right? Karmically, if you believe in that. So again, I'm not judging. I don't know what you're doing, who you are, anything, but you're resistant to making that transition, to turning that page, to closing the book. Many of you are resistant to it for whatever reason. And again, it's about not being aligned with how other people see you. Whether you think they don't see the real you, whether you feel like they don't recognize the real you, whether you think they are misjudging you, mistreating you, I don't know your reasoning, but there's just this, no, that's not how I am. That's not who I am. That's not what I am. And the book, the page is turning, and you're just like, no. Let's go back a few pages. Let's reread that chapter, because you'll see that this is not correct. So some of you, maybe it's like, you're trying to set the record straight. You're trying to be vindicated in some type of ways. Or I feel a lot of it is just, I want to see what other people see. I can't move on from this situation, or I can't move forward in this way until I'm able to understand what other people have said about me, or what other people have thought about me. Not that you care what they have come to. It's more of a, I need to understand. Something about understanding here. I don't know what this does for you, Sagittarius. I don't know how that impacts you, but that's what it feels like. Oh. Okay. I think I get it. Or maybe it applies to not even many of you. It might just apply to some of you. But this understanding and this appreciation of the world and the lesson and the chapter end and the moving on from one phase to another, right? All of that. I don't want to say it's anchored in, but I think it would be sort of filtered down, or it would be influential on this Empress energy. Empress, Major Arcana 4. I always hesitate with this. Taurus and Libra. So you might be dealing with either of those signs, but you don't have to be. Sagittarius, I feel like there's this beauty, either another person or an aspect of beauty in your life, that you feel slightly attached or detached from. Detached. Oh, man. If it's another person, that would make sense. Especially for those where you're fearing some type of jail time, some type of reprimand that's going to cause not dissension, but distance between you and another person. If literally your freedom hangs in the balance, you literally would not want to show up to court to be sentenced if there was an Empress around you that you want to spend time with, that you want to commune with, that you want to be close with. It doesn't have to be a romantic partner, you know, don't get so narrow-minded in that. That will work for those where you know that you're like, but this could be your child, the Empress, or your parent. This could be your friend. This could be your brother, your sister. It does not matter. But the Empress is someone who's loving. The Empress is someone who takes care of those around her. I'm only saying her because it's a female. This could be a male. It does not matter. The Empress is a caretaker. The Empress is nurturing. The Empress is someone who, I don't want to say coddles, but literally like cuddles a person. Literally might be physically effusive with a person to show support, to show love and care, okay? And this person would care about you. Whether they love you, I don't know, because I think, you know, some of you might have had sort of a hard life and you don't have many people that you're close with. And this Empress might not, you might not have words of I love you between you and them, but they would be the closest thing you've ever had to like a great best friend or someone that actually, you know, cares about you. This could be your parole officer or some shit. I don't know. And so the prospect of losing connection with this person, with the ending that you feel is coming from the World card and or the Justice card, you're nervous and you're anxious about it. You don't want to face that ending because you're so close with this person, or you want to remain close with this person, or you want to stay in contact with this person. So there's a fear of losing connection with a person in many of your cases. In some of your cases, this is losing some type of connection with yourself. I think that maybe some of you might have been going through something emotional lately, or something that has been emotionally or mentally taxing and tiring, right? With that eight of Swords up there. And it's time for you to maybe commit to something with the Justice card, commit to maybe a more healthful protocol, towards your health and your wellness and your mental state and your emotional state. Okay, so maybe that's seeking therapy or seeing what other types of things you can do in terms of medication. Some of you have been severely depressed and you've been sort of agoraphobic to a certain extent, and you have not gone out into the world. And this is someone who invites you out into the world. Could be a friend, could be your therapist, who is like, I want you to take a walk every day after work. I want you to spend 10 minutes outside because, you know, your job is long hours inside, dark buildings, no windows, whatever you're doing. Someone is imploring you, or you're imploring yourself, it does not matter, to get into this more healthy, bountiful, and abundant state of being. The Empress is very abundant. She's very rich in all ways. She's the Queen of Queens, right? So she encompasses the swords, the cups, the pentacles, and the wands. So she's got the money, she's got the mind, she's got the heart, and she's got the tenacity. She's got everything. She's full of it all. Not in a bad way, okay? But she's full of it all. And if it's not an external person, it's like this aspect of yourself that you would want to or need to get in contact with, but you have been absent from it, or you fear losing contact completely. You're having quite a deep reading. And we eventually got there because when I started this, I was very distracted. And as we've gone on, I feel I've gotten a little sharper, a little bit more attuned to what's going on, Sagittarius. So I think this might indicate some need to funnel, like go from a big, wide berth to like a smaller, very, very precise channel, all right? And focusing on what you need to do, or focusing on meeting the potential loss head on. Again, I don't advise this because, or rather, don't listen to me because I'm not a lawyer. But if you're like avoiding the legal system, I don't know that that's necessarily the best thing to do, because I would assume you would be making your situation worse by avoiding showing up to court appearances or meeting with your parole officer. If you're designated to meet with that person once a week, you better make those meetings. If you're not, that might hurt you in the long run, right? Outcome. 2 of Wands. So kind of what I was just saying. Look at this hare. Look at this rabbit. Got his paw on the world. It's his choice. He can choose whatever he's going to do with that world. Yeah. So the ball's in your court. The world is your oyster, kind of thing. So there's a need. Well, not a need, but there's a potential to be hopeful here, to be a little optimistic here. You know, when we have the 2 of Wands, Sag, you know, we're just beginning to see. We're at the starting line of what could be. Yeah. The potentials are not endless, but the potentials are many. And what you choose to do, what you choose not to do, that's all within yourself. That's all a part of your autonomy. I think, and that's just human nature. Sometimes people can be at that starting point with the journey ahead of them, with that new chapter ahead of them, and they can pause. Some people can pause. Some people can become paranoid or even paralyzed by newness and things unraveling in front of them and unfurling in front of them, and new experiences and new people, and you know, having to think differently or change their perspective. It can really send some people into a panic, and other people, it drives them absolutely wild. They absolutely love that new thing. They absolutely love the potentiality of the future, right? So something about future cast or future bound energy is important. The longevity of something or the new road that you're going to travel is super important. But a lot of you don't, you're anxious about it, or you're nervous about it, or you're apprehensive to even get to that new starting point, to even put one toe on the start line. You're just like, I don't know. Others of you, you can't wait. Regardless, I feel that the power is yours, but you have this in your way, and the world a little bit, because you see how daunting that card is. Ironically, even though you're blindfolded there in the 8 of Swords, you can see how daunting pardon me, you can see how daunting that World card is, how much is asking of you, how much is expected of you. That's a heavy card, the World. And some of you are like reveling in that. I can't wait to prove myself. I can't wait to show people who I really am. You know? Interesting. Overall energy, Sag, is the Hermit. Major Arcana for Virgo. It's been a while. I haven't seen the Hermit in a long time in many readings. So the Hermit. As an overall energy, this kind of is talking to what I think has been playing in the background this entire reading. You're on some type of solo journey to self-discovery. You're really trying to pinpoint certain setbacks and pitfalls in your life. You're trying to make, you're trying, what is this? This is like inventory, right? The Hermit goes deep into the crevices of your mind, of your heart, of your subconscious, and really pulls out all the weeds, and really pulls out and highlights all of the things that need attention. Things that are great. Yeah, that's important to the Hermit too. But the Hermit really wants to make heads and tails of the things that are necessarily often seen to be quote unquote negative, right? So if you have patterns in your experience, Sagittarius, maybe like, again, for some of you, you have long periods or bouts with depression. Number one, you're not alone. Millions of people experience that. So don't feel isolated, or don't feel as if you're some type of nut job or something like that. Many people go through that. So at least have solidarity in knowing that you're among the in crowd, so to speak, right? But if you recognize these patterns in yourself, Sagittarius, where you go through long periods of time, weeks, months at a time, where you're less social and you're more anxious, or you're more irritable, whatever. The Hermit is here to support you recognizing that. If you have patterns of sort of allowing yourself to be a scapegoat, I'm taking myself back to what I said earlier, where I feel someone out here in the audience is going to be always trying to please someone and never feeling good enough, never feeling as if anything they do is satisfactory. Especially like in a parent and child dynamic, someone is feeling like they're being judged as being not good enough, not ever measuring up to some type of standard. And the Hermit would highlight that, would highlight all the pain and the hurt associated with that, especially if it's coming from your parents, because a parent, or at least most of us would assume that in a parent-child relationship, the parent is going to be supportive and unconditional with their love for their child. Some of you have conditional love with your parents. It's not a rare thing also, just like depression or anxiety. That is also not rare. But you constantly try to please them, or you've constantly tried to jump through their hoops, like this bear. This bear is adorned with that lantern and flowers and stuff, giving me sort of like a circus act feel. So some of you have this wild animal about you, or this natural tendency about you, because it's not a bear's natural tendency to wear a lantern around its neck. But if you put him in a damn circus and you train him to be that way and you make him jump through those hoops, he will do that. But does a bear truly want to do that? So some of you are trying to match and live up to the expectations of your parents or other people around you, but it's not your natural tendency. You don't want to do that. I don't want to perform that way. I don't want to live my life that way, but you have lived your life that way. Okay? So that's your overall energy, meaning that's sort of the undercurrent of everything. What needs to be addressed, or what is influencing everything that we talked about today, is your tendency to perform good things or bad things, whatever you're doing, I don't know. And that not being necessarily your natural inclination. And you need to rectify, or not rectify, but you need to reconcile that. There needs to be some kind of judgment passed on that. And I feel that beyond judgment of other people or judgment of a legal system, you, Sagittarius, have to make the final judgment on yourself. You, Sagittarius, have to figure out how you view yourself, and does that view of yourself match up with your reality, and how can you make those two kind of overlap and become sort of more of a unified vision, okay? Sag, that's your reading for mid-August. If you liked it, there is a like button down below. Go ahead and hit it for me. You can leave comments down below letting me know how this video resonated in your life, how the message resonated in your life. You can also share this video across your social media platforms. Let other people know you like watching my videos and that you think I'm a cool person. And if not a cool person, at least you like what I said today. And you can also, of course, subscribe to the channel if you are not already subscribed. The number keeps going up. I'm really liking that. I'm meeting new people. I'm really liking that. And so I just want to see that continue. So doing any and all of those things will help a girl along. Sag, I will be back in about a week and a half, 2 weeks with your September messages, and then your mids after that, and so on and so forth. I will be going live sometime in the middle of September for Virgo's birthday period. That will be a video specifically for Virgos, but I will be live. You can pop into the chat if you want. You can say hi and hello and do all that fun stuff, or you can totally skip it. But I just want to let people know ahead of time before I do that, in case anybody shows up and it's like, hey, I'm a Pisces, read my Tars. And I'm like, it's not for Pisces, it's for Virgo. So I just wanted to let everybody know ahead of time, okay? All right, Sag, I really, really appreciate you guys taking your time to watch this video today. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.